The Corps of Discovery by L.J. Martin. A president named Jefferson, he had a big dream. It would take special men who could act as a team. Jefferson picked Lewis. Lewis picked friend Clark from a camp named Dubois now to make their mark. You can search for an answer, then find at your feet men who'll not stop till the country's complete. Men like cougars, tough and strong, who live off land, who'll work together, forged as a team they'll stand. The Louisiana Purchase had doubled the size, but a route to the Pacific now Jefferson's prize. The Corps of Discovery was the chosen name, 45 souls with luck destined for fame. Cook, Dupratz, Mackenzie teased of the goal, but the route itself was an unknown black hole. 45 brave men and a hound named Seaman, a Newfoundland hound that could be a demon. A keelboat, 2 pirogues packed bow to stern, flora, fauna, tribes, and route, so much to learn. Into the unknown they pushed off from shore. 45 and a hound made up the Corps. It was May of 1804, and the water ran high. Upstream was a feat, with death always nigh. Not long on Big Mo, Sergeant Charles Floyd died. Did this foretell of more? Many corpsmen cried. So on they charged, into a muddy, roiling river. Jefferson's prize they were determined to deliver. They reached the Great Plains, bison, elk, and deer. For many a day hunger pains were nothing to fear. The first to say no passage were the powerful Sioux, but the Corps bowed backs and passed on through. With winter's first gale built a fort named Mandan. They survived in good stead, losing nary a man. At Mandan, Lewis hired guide Charbonneau. More important than him was what would accrue. His young wife, Sacagawea, even ripe with child, would lead the Corps and help conquer the wild. An expedition with a young, handsome girl said peace where hate and suspicion whirl. The Mandans taught lessons that eased. The Corps headed upriver, more than pleased. Soon with a baby by Clark, nicknamed Pomp, ahead of the men she'd continue to stomp. The captains watched, but continued to doubt. Alas, Sacagawea in the lead matched any scout. And soon only Charbonneau, about whom the worried his wife, a treasure, babe on back, she scurried. Lewis stared at the horizon, wondering what he'd done, then forced doubt aside, always into setting sun. The Mandans proved friends, helpful and kind. From the boredom of winter now it was grind. Now it was sweat, walk, pull, and row. Few forces on earth top spring's mighty mow. Sandbars, log jams, snags, say you damn fools, with strong backs, determination, your only tools. The good was plains, buffalo, ducks, and deer. The bad was in every way. Danger was near. With flora and fauna they sent the keelboat home. Now with pirogue and canoes they would roam. Now to the heart of darkness, the total unknown. Hope and fear was with them, deep to the bone. For Lewis, this unknown was a lifelong dream. Country, he said, beautiful in the extreme. Grass belly deep, buff and precious beaver. Walk, paddle, and pull, advance, now a fever. Almost daily, a new discovery, flora and fauna. To explorer Lewis, the plains were nirvana. West, now the Corps a fine-tuned team. Now the wide Yellowstone, on the left a beam. But Jefferson instructed follow Mo to the end, and west was the result, bend after wide bend. With each discovery, Lewis made careful notes, now with iced paddles charged on in small boats. From buffalo fat Cook made a fine puddin' dish, and plenty of wild meat, birds, even fish. Nice Mandan ladies, plentiful buffalo meat, scurvy, syphilis, ailments that must be beat. Hard winds and dust irritated the men's eyes. Still they charged on, intent on Jefferson's prize. Ahead alone, Private Breton shot a griz bear, arrived at the boats out of breath but not prayer. A pirogue under sail was attacked by a squall, filled an inch from the gunwales, about to lose all. Bailing with kettles they paddled to shore, drying precious goods as Meriwether swore. Journals, maps, instruments, and equipment, if destroyed there could be no new shipment. Calm, collected, made Sacagawea save them. Not first nor last time Cor was proud of the femme. Upstream, hard labor, they were into the breaks, cliffs of bare brown, onward, whatever it takes. But now, encouraged by Rockies seen far distant, driven now by new fervor, a goal more insistent, the Big Mo now rocky, danger near every turn, negotiating rough water, a challenging task to learn, collecting, gathering samples, much new to science, weather, Indians, animals, all showed defiance. Now white cliffs, Lewis claimed a romantic sight, reminiscent of stately buildings in changing light. Now a cloudy large river flowing in from the north, the milk a surprise, one of many henceforth. Then another fork, a quandary, both equal in size. Clark and Lewis heads together, no else to advise. After miles of exploration up both equal streams, naming north the Marias, on south with the Dreams. Should they be mistaken, it was a fearful choice, but up on the south, Captain said with equal voice. They decided it propitious to abandon the canoe, and charged on afoot, the path ahead always askew. Through mud called gumbo they'd slip, slide, and fall, but hardened by long row and trek they all stood tall. A slippery gumbo precipice had Lewis near death. It seemed new danger near with every ragged breath. But birds, robin, thrush, goldfinch, blackbird, and wren, flatland more beautiful than ever seen by these men. On up the river they killed 4 elk, barrels of meat. For a good long while the Corps had plenty to eat. Then glory, a view of the Rockies covered with snow. Among all, the belief in their task continued to grow. And now the great falls, Lewis said, a sight to behold. Now afoot, a steep hard climb ahead only foretold. Lewis prayed for the Shoshone and herds of horses, for across the Rockies they'd known all the courses. To Lewis's surprise, against all that he'd been told, it was falls after falls, again a spectacle to behold. His journal said, pleasingly beautiful, sublimely grand. Then he was charged by buffalo, made a brave stand, reminded again that in the wild were constant dangers, reminded again here all the Corps were strangers. With 5 falls in the river it was a great portage, but thank the Lord, good health with food, no shortage. Then the girl, Sacagawea, fell terribly, feverishly ill. Valuable to the Corps, cure took all of Lewis's skill. With a babe to suckle and the Corps to lead west, healthy again she marched on, babe to her chest. The portage challenged even hardened Corps men. Toughest trek yet, Lewis recorded on paper with pen. All this long way they'd hauled a rigid steel frame, now to sew a hide cover, a boat, the river to tame. To his great chagrin, when launched, the boat failed. Best laid plans of men, ease of advance curtailed. Not easily thwarted, a copse of cottonwood found, trees large enough to carve canoes safe and sound. Now the Missouri became 3 forks, in a claim Madison, Gallatin, and Jefferson by Lewis named. Known to the maid, as it was here she was captured, so close to home, no doubt, now totally enraptured. Blessed by the Lord, the chief of the first tribe found was Sacagawea's brother, a coincidence renowned. With herds of horses, for baubles willing to trade, and a guide who knew a route across, they prayed. Sacagawea had again proved her worth pure gold. With babe in hand, none of the men were more bold. But the Rockies ahead proved a formidable test. Lay over the winter a spot named Traveler's Rest. For babbles the Shoshones traded for horses, and provided a guide who knew mountain courses. Then the bitter roots, 11 days of pure hell, deep snow, horses and men stumbled and fell. Steep country, deep creeks, rocks, blowing snow, for the very first time they feared nowhere to go. Then the Shoshone guide came through the low trail. Then the Nez Perce, new horses, they cannot fail. Ahead the wide snake, the hope of sound boats. It must lead to the Pacific, new hope of easy floats. Now they learned to make canoes by burning, a short stay for the wide Pacific new yearning. The gentle snake, no hiking ahead, easy floats. Into the wide Columbia, thank God, new boats. In places a glorious half-mile from side to side. To the Pacific, kick back, a flat, easy ride. But soon they discovered wild rapids ahead. This close to success, they could all be dead. Falls, short narrows, some dangerous and long, but good food, good rest, and all were strong. They portaged, carrying heavy boats around. Again they were convinced the Pacific bound. November 7th, 05. Oh joy, tidal changes in view, and they thought, easy living, if only they knew. Hostile Indians, constant fog, nights soaking wet. They hoped rest and food, but now constant fret. But soon, with new vigor, they were headed home. Familiar paths, even then they decided to roam. Lewis one way, Captain Clark another path. After all, discovery, sure, fame, the aftermath. They met again far down the great Missouri. Safe they'd face the far west in all her fury. A great adventure, they only lost one man, only shot one savage against their plan. On history, the Corps, what an epic story, for Jefferson and Corps nationwide glory. One country, forever, from sea to shining sea, a country Jefferson and God meant to be. Sadly, damn French brought pox to the West. Comely lasses in villages brought needed rest. Clark would be successful, happy and wed. Soon Lewis, infected, by this own hand dead. A sad ending for a 2-year magnificent tale. A trek most said was destined would surely fail. But a country forever on, from sea to shining sea. A country God and President Jefferson meant to be. A Corps of discovery, by Jefferson directed. A country for all, Corps and Jefferson perfected. It matters. Leaders Lewis, Clark, and the Corps left a trail 8,000 miles none can ignore. Lewis said when citing the Pacific, "Oh, glory! It's a tale all should revere, for all a proud story." They were men, hound, brave lady, and baby, who faced the unknown with hope and a maybe. So around the campfire or full supper table, it's a true tale to tell, better than any liar's fable.